Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we finally return with more F1 Manager 24. Yes, it's been a little while since the last video from this series. As I mentioned during the MotoGP video yesterday, I've been a bit busy over the last week or so, but yeah, we are finally returning to this game today. Now, of course, obviously, the next Grand Prix we've got coming up is the Dutch Grand Prix. We've basically caught up where we are in IRL Formula 1 at the moment. However, of course, we've got to go through the summer break. Now, inside F1 24, that means basically nothing. Inside F1 Manager, it is actually quite an important time inside the game. Of course, we've got 25 days. We've got hopefully a couple of upgrades that we might be able to bring to the car as well. And, most importantly, we should hopefully complete our scouting of Stoffel Van Dorn to potentially replace Liam Lawson within the team as well. Now, we've got a couple of other important things, of course. Enrico Cardile has officially signed it with the team as well, so we're going to be signing him on. And yeah, we do need to keep Cardile because he is a very, very ideal technical chief to have. So obviously we've spent a little bit of money, obviously, to keep him within the organisation as well. We've got another sponsorship plan, so we need to obviously just try and make sure that we get exactly to the score that is required of us as well. So I think if we do that one, we will, there we go, we'll get only just to what we need to there. That'll have a facility effectiveness decrease slightly, and a driver performance rating a slight decrease on Yuki Tsunoda as well, but hopefully will be good fun there, and we'll get a little bit of money in the back pocket as well. So let's take a look then as to what the team is saying about Stoffel Van Dorn. Is he going to be a fairly cheap date to try and get back into Formula 1? He wants $1 million salary. He's got a $210,000 buyout fee. Now, it's been a long time, of course, since Stoffel was a Formula 1 driver. So I guess we will try and offer him a signing on bonus as well. We obviously want him to try and be... Wait? Excuse me? He would rather be an affiliate driver than in one of the cars. So can I offer him like a 2-year deal? What? Hey? Why on earth does he not want to join? That is so weird. We'll go like that. I haven't even got the money, have I, at the moment? This is a problem. Oh, no, there we go. It only costs us 560k to actually sign him. We'll give him... I don't want to give him too much time, of course, because we want to try and get him in the car ready for this weekend there. But I guess that's going to be basically the bare minimum we can offer him that he's likely to accept. Maybe if I offer him a race bonus as well. And he's... Oh, there we go. So if I offer him like a race bonus, he's far more likely to sign on. And I can save myself a little bit of money as well, which I guess is good. Yeah, there we go. That should be okay. Then, you know, I don't want to offer him too much. He's only Stoffel Van Dorn after all. But hopefully we'll get confirmation before this weekend as to whether he wants in. Apparently as well, the likes of Abby Pulling have got real potential inside this game as well to potentially, you know, progress quite well. So I think we might propose to sign our first affiliate driver into the game as well then. So we'll offer, I mean, we can't afford again to offer her too much money. Give her a signing on bonus there, and well, how much money does she think she's worth? 360k. I guess that's not too bad as an affiliate driver as well there. So apparently we've... Oh yeah, because obviously I've already offered a contract to Stoffel. We couldn't, even if we wanted to, offer her a driving seat within the team. But there we go. We're finally starting to make some of the moves within the organisation. In terms of the cars, we've got a couple of bits that have failed, which I guess is not good. So we need to manufacture some new rear wings. We'll get another 2 of those on. To hopefully obviously get both drivers sorted, and then we need to do the same with some side pods as well there. So we'll manufacture a couple of those, but I mean, admittedly, yeah, we are spending all of our money. Now, for the second half of the year, we're probably basically going to put all of our focus onto next year's car. Apparently that's the way to go inside F1 Manager. So yeah, we'll obviously get those new parts manufactured. Both cars are ready to go. And a driver development update. You can see they're both slowly moving up still. But yeah, Lawson, I think, sadly, is basically in the bin. Now, apparently the team seem pretty happy as well with how things are going. So we might just implement one extra. Oh, okay, so if I go... Oh, okay, sorry. I was reading that chart the wrong way around all this time. I want to make sure that obviously everybody is, you know, comfortable within the team as well. So I guess we'll go with rest. We'll give them a couple of little rest sessions here and there throughout the next couple of weeks, just to try and make sure that obviously they are comfortable, ready for the Grand Prix weekend as well there. So we'll go like that. They're going to be well rested. Hopefully that's going to lead to less mistakes in towards the second half of the campaign as well. And hopefully we're going to get confirmation from Stoffel Van Dorn pretty soon as to whether he wants in as well or not. You know, like I've said, he's not the be-all and end-all if he doesn't want in. But I would quite like to get him inside the team now because I think he's going to be a good driver in the future as well. Now, we've got just under $2 million. Could we potentially try and research our first new element ready for next season? I think we want to spend a bit of time researching a new chassis, but of course I've got no MAU hours or anything like that, so we've got to wait another month before I can do anything like that either there. So let's keep heading forward and hopefully we'll get confirmation. Oh, Lawson's gone! Haas have taken Liam Lawson out of nowhere. So apparently, then, what does that mean? Does that mean who've they swapped him out for? I cannot believe that our first ever driver has been poached inside this game. So Hulkenberg is still there. Magnussen is still there. Lawson apparently is still with... How do I have a look at like what's going on with the drivers? Here we go. Scouting, isn't it? Sorry, drivers. Overall rating. Let's have a look. So Yuki Tsunoda obviously is with us. Magnussen is apparently still with... Apparently they're both still with Haas. So what's happened with Liam Lawson? Apparently he's gone, but he isn't gone. Eh? What does that mean? We're at the point that Haas have offered Liam Lawson a contract and they've accepted it. Liam Lawson is leaving the team. We need to hire someone. Oh, so I need to acknowledge that. Okay. So I could just refuse that to happen, could I? Apparently. Right. Now do we get a better idea of who's where? So Magnussen is still at Haas. Hulkenberg apparently is still at Haas. According to this, Lawson is still with us. So I may as well break his contract, mightn't I, immediately, if obviously we can sign Lance... not Lance Stroll, even Stoffel Van Dorn. Right. Stoffel has offered us a counter-offer. Let's have a look. So he wants 2.3 million. He wants an extra 100 grand signing on bonus. He wants more money and an easier race target. We'll confirm and make a counter-offer again. So I think your race bonus there, sir, is way too OP. We'll give you 20k. But I want you to finish in top 14, I guess. We'll go 15th place then. And I want to take a little bit of your signing on bonus as well. I don't think you're worth that much to me, Stoffel. But we will offer you a new contract then as well. And hopefully he'll come back pretty soon. Because like I said, I genuinely don't know whether we're going to have Liam Lawson in our car ready for this weekend or not anymore. There we go. Carlo Cristofori is going to gain a bit of rating as well. We've still got other bits and pieces. External contract offer. Hey? I was recently contacted by the team RB and they sent me... They would like me to join from the beginning of next year. I've been mulling it over. To be honest with you, the offer is tempting. I've had a good time here. So I want to give you a chance to review my contract before I accept this proposal. Hey? We'll leave that, I think, until the next video. We've got a lot of contract talks going on at the moment, Carlo. And I'm not saying you're not important. But, yeah. Sorry to say McLaren has offered a contract to Abby Pulling that is significantly better than our offer. Don't have the details about what McLaren have offered, but it was too good for Abby Pulling to continue talking to us. Okay, so we're not hiring our first junior either. And Stoffel Van Dorn has mentioned that... What's wrong with McLaren trying to poach everyone I want? Slightly better than ours. I mean, he wants 350 grand. I mean, if he reckons he can finish P6 each race, then I guess that'd be good. Oh, man, what do I do? We'll lower his contract threshold, I guess? I mean, he's get a 2-season deal in the second car. Surely McLaren aren't offering him anything else better than that. And we'll up it to, say, 210k as well. So, I mean, Stoffel Van Dorn is making us work for it. Why is McLaren suddenly just throwing money around the place like it's going out of fashion? That's really frustrating for us, because I'm sure they have more money than I do. So there we go. That'll get done. We need more underfloors as well, so we need to manufacture a couple more of those. Underfloor. Oh, we would need to do the second one, don't I? So I need a couple more of those. Another 800 grand, though, down the drain. I'm hoping we don't need to go through many more parts before the end of the year, because that's quite painful at the moment. Have I got a spare underfloor? Can I swap him out? Oh, so I can give the number 2 car again, the new underfloor as well, which I guess is good news. Right, are we going to get any more kind of contract talks done before this weekend? Are we finally going to sign Stoffel Van Dorn, please? Abby pulling... Yeah, I've already said I'm not having that. Oh, damn it. Oh, everybody's leaving us. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible. So, Carlo's going. Abby Pulling's not joining. Not that I'm too worried about that. This has been an absolute disaster. Apparently, Yuki's ERS isn't looking particularly great either. So, we'll put another one. Apparently, we haven't got another one. Oh, I haven't even got the money to put a new one in. So, we'll have to go back to the first one. I'm gonna install that. So, we need more money to be able to do that then. With the number 1 car. Lawson as well is in a pretty similar boat. Although, admittedly, yeah, his other one is even worse for wear. So, this is not going well at the moment. Please, Stoffel, come back to me with something. Is Stoffel seriously not coming back to me at all? Drivers, scouting, drivers. Where is Stoffel Van Dorn? He's like 78 rated, isn't he? Stoffel, where's Stoffel? Hey? Oh, there he is. 77 rated. He's not even willing to negotiate either. Oh, we are in trouble. We are in big trouble. So we haven't got Lawson out. We haven't got Stoffel in. And he's run out of patience with me. This has been an utter disaster. And basically what's happened there is we've just lost one of our technical directors, I think. That's been a bit shocking. I guess we'll move to Zandvoort.
Hello, and a very warm welcome as we prepare for the Dutch Grand Prix. We're back from the summer break with topped up tans. Vacation, though, is now over, and it's time to get serious on the track for the second half of the F1 season.
I mean, you've got to think, if you're Liam Lawson with the way that summer break's gone down, you must be even more disappointed in the fact that you're still racing for the team there. He's obviously got a contract for Haas. I believe that must be the end of the year then. So we're going to have to save our pennies and try to make sure that we're in a good position next season. I think, honestly, what I need to do is just hire a junior driver and train them up throughout the rest of the season to try and get them ready for Formula 1 next season. Now, apparently, there's a minor fault on the ERS. Now, I don't believe I would be a million in the red. I don't know. The thing is, well, I don't want to take grid penalties here either. So we're going to ignore that. And obviously we're going to try and get the car set up there. So I think Zandvoort, to be fair for us, should be quite a good circuit, I hope. Obviously we scored points back at Imola. And I would say these two are fairly similar circuits. But it does kind of depend on what Yuki Tsunoda is able to do in that first car there. So we'll try and run some, obviously, different wing settings as well. On both of the cars, obviously try and make sure that we get everything all figured out. I think what we'll do is it's going to be higher front wing and slightly lower rear wing configs here. But it is heavy rain all weekend after Friday. So that's going to affect the setup balance ever so slightly as well. So we'll see as to how we get on throughout free practice. I must admit, obviously, when you go through like all of the driver transfers and contracts and things, this game is so much more fun than F1 24. You know, the idea that we've ended up coming out of all this worse than we went in, when in like F1 24, for example, the AI teams, you know, they'll never try and take your driver off you. It's all like fairy tales and rainbows. This game's brutal. It's basically gone, Matt, it's the summer break, and you're getting lamped in the face, is what F1 Manager has decided today. And I think that's the perfect way to explain our scenario. Now, like I said, I am slightly worried about those ERS throughout this weekend, so hopefully we'll kind of monitor those, and I think, yeah, ready for the next round. We're going to have to report those. Lawson is getting worse on his car. We might have to spend the money.
But it looks like they're carrying some kind of fault.
I don't think it's affecting pace too badly at the moment, but of course this is such a good opportunity for us to score points. I think what we'll do is we'll give Yuki a new ERS, because he might actually be able to score points here. Both drivers are going to have to take a grid penalty for it anyway, But we'll give Yuki a new one because this should hopefully be a good circuit for us. And then, I mean, we've got Monza next, haven't we? We might just try and do it with Liam there as well then. So we didn't get enough data there after the first runs, which is a bit of an issue. So do we have a better idea of where the team is? Yes, we do. And neither driver happy with the amount of speed in the car. So we'll go like that with Liam Lawson. And Yuki Tsunoda, again, not happy with how things are looking. The cornering ability he's very happy with, so at least we know that was pretty good. Right, we'll go like... If we take a load of tow out of the car, if we go like that, then hopefully that's going to be a little bit better. Apparently, neither driver wants braking stability around this venue, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, I mean, we got obviously a few juniors in. Isaac Hagel once again. We've got... I think that might be it, actually. No, Teo Pourchaire down at Kick Sauer as well. Do we need to try and hire Teo Pourchaire? You know, Formula 2 champion. Could I try and get him away from Sauber and basically train him up for the rest of the year? That might be one we need to look at some point, because Teo Pourchaire, I think, could be quite a decent little competitor inside this game as well. I mean, anyone I try to hire, apparently it doesn't go well anyway. So we'll kind of wait and see as to how we get on with that one then. But over halfway through free practice then, I should have made the stint lengths a bit longer, shouldn't I? To try and get a bit more precision from both of the drivers as well there. Because at the moment, yeah, we're not quite getting all the feedback we need. But it kind of feels like we've got a lot of things to do at the moment inside this game, of course. You know, we need to try and get a second driver and a new driver alongside Yuki. We need to try and develop next year's car. We've got reliability issues on this year's car. Being a Formula 1 team owner is difficult, ladies and gents. It is not an easy feat. So we're going to have to be really, really careful. You know, I think we're going to have to tread lightly throughout the final third of the campaign as well then. As hopefully we're going to get a bit more confirmation in just a second with Liam. Oh, no. That's not good. I mean, he kind of teleported across the road.
Now this was at turn 1.
Has he done a Zhou Guan Yu down in towards that first corner?
Well, you could see the lockup. By that point, it was just too late.
Yes, he has, in a word. So, I think, yeah, Lawson, they're both heading back to the pit lane anyway, as tyres are pretty worn out at this point. So, yeah, we'll get them both back into the pits, and we will go again then. So, we're pretty much there. Apparently, I've got too much traction in Liam's car. So if we go like that then, we should be pretty much there, I think. Oh, we need to get a new set of tyres, don't I, as well? I tell you what, tyre wear seems to be really high as well around this circuit this weekend, which is quite interesting. So we'll go like that. I'll just make a couple of little tweaks. Hopefully, if we go like that, we've got too much traction in the car, which is a very odd problem to have, but it's the problem we've got. If we go like that, then, I think that should be good with Yuki Tsunoda. We'll get them both just to do one final last-ditch run as well. We've actually got quite a few laps on the board. But yeah, before we head to qualifying, though, I'm going to give Yuki a new battery pack. I think it's going to mean he's going to start at the rear of the field. But it is meant to be a wet qualifying session, so that might not mean that we end up as far back in the order as I thought we might.
Qualifying is coming up, and the drivers will be ready and raring to go.
Good overtaking spots at Zandvoort are few and far between, so there's a lot of pressure to get qualifying just right. Drivers will be hoping for good downforce from their car setup to keep them on the track through the long sweeping corners.
If we turn our attention to Pierre Gasly for a minute, Karun, how's he going to be feeling as qualifying approaches?
It's interesting because they weren't that fast in practice. I'm not sure if this was a lack of pace or just the team trying different things, but I imagine we'll see their true performance soon enough.
Hold on tight, because we're getting underway.
Well, here we are then, ready for qualifying in the heavy rain here at Zandvoort. Now, what I've done is I've allowed Yuki to use his old battery pack still throughout the rest of free practice, just so we've got an entirely fresh ERS ready as we head into qualifying now. I think, annoyingly, though, what on earth has Lawson done? So he's got engine wear as well, so I've given him his fourth and final engine. His ERS, though, should make it through this weekend. I don't want to spend even more money on new car components for that, because ultimately, yeah, we're already now in the red, effectively. And that's not ideal at this stage. Now, setup as well. Both drivers pretty happy with. You can see 96%, then 93% on Liam. So we might just make one minor tweak to try... Oh, no, that's not going to work. Get it back the other way. I didn't want to change that. Can we change, like, the toe angle, for example, or the tyre camber? Maybe just try and bring everything back into the green. We'll go like that, then, with Liam Lawson as well. That'd hopefully get him a little bit more confident. But, yeah, Yuki's going to take a penalty this weekend. However, like I said, because it's changeable wet conditions, we've often got an opportunity here to actually do better than the team would expect. So, it looks like it's going to be last car on a lap is going to be the one with the advantage here. Right, well, with just over 5 minutes left on the clock then, we're going to take a bit of a gamble and send both cars out onto a set of the intermediates. Everybody else has done some wet laps, with the exception of Lance Stroll, who's now come out on the inters as well. But, as we make our way then through the final corner, we might just about be at the time where we're going to see the crossover between those wets and the inters. Now, obviously, avoiding other cars here is going to be the big thing as well, as there we go, it does dip below 4 mil. It's not quite as clear-cut a crossover inside F1 Manager 24 as we've seen in previous games as well. So, you know, it might still be that the full wet tyres have got a little bit more pace in the car. But, on the other hand, you know, we've kind of got to throw caution to the wind, especially with Yuki this weekend. Because if there's any opportunity to try and springboard him up the order to make sure that we're not starting in exactly last place, then we've obviously got to try and take it as well there. As that rain, yeah, is just tucked in under 4. But he's now pretty much hovering there, so have we timed this quite well when we'll get both cars out for the very driest lap they possibly can do. The rain, I don't think, is meant to taper off at all anymore between now and the end of the session, so it might just be a case of trying to get some laps under our belt. It might be the case that obviously we dive back into the pit lane at the end of this one and literally just try and put more fuel in. The car is 29.0 first sector, 28.8, 28.8 for Yuki. Through the first 2 for him. So he's ever so slightly up at the moment. And now you can just see that rain again starting just to tip the other way here. Now we've got both Alpines down in the drop zone at the moment. Ricciardo looking pretty racy. As Lando Norris, George Russell seem to have both struggled just a little bit as well. But as we make their way through the final corner, Yuki Tsunoda then up towards the line. Only good enough for P18 there. So that's not worked out as well as I would have wanted, and I think Liam Lawson is going to be even slower. So I think we've just got to try and get Yuki just to keep pushing on his in-lap, just so we might have enough time to go back out there. This is quite awkward, but yeah, we're going to try and get them both just to keep pushing on, so we can try and send them out on a set of full wets, because maybe I've messed this one up, as Lawson... Maybe some surprise nobody ends up in last. Ah, damn it. We haven't got enough time to go back out. Well, I think qualifying here has been an utter write-off, as other times have improved. Have people done those on wets or inters? They have still done them on wets, so... We took a gamble. It hasn't really paid off for us. I'll be honest, I don't think Liam Lawson was probably going to do much else anyway. But, yeah, we might have messed that one up quite royally when all is said and done. And we, maybe for the first time ever inside this series, we are going to be locking out the back row of the grid. That is incredibly frustrating.
It's a tremendous atmosphere once again here in Zandvoort, with 72 laps awaiting the drivers here today.
Zandvoort's highly banked corners make it one of the more unusual Grand Prix circuits. Dutch driver Max Verstappen won with a dominant lead here in 2021, driving the home fans to a frenzy as he did.
There's never a dull moment at Circuit Zandvoort. It's fast, very fast, with long straights and wide curves. But it also features 2 heavy banked corners, where aerodynamic improvements are sure to help our drivers.
Well, I've got to be honest, I'm not sure where these long straights and wide corners Croft is talking about are coming from. But yeah, as we head into Grand Prix Sunday, I thought it was meant to be wet right from the get-go here. And yeah, with 5 post-grid penalties for both drivers as well, we are starting right at the rear of the field. The rain's meant to roll in, though, pretty much immediately here. So soft compound tyres going to be the way to go. But it is, again, meant to taper off towards the end of the afternoon. So we're going to have to go super aggressive and just try and see what we can do there. I definitely don't want to box Liam early on in the GP, but we are going to try and tell them both as well to go super aggressive off the start of the race. We haven't got a lot to lose here. So, yeah, I think if we can just get both drivers on with it, then maybe, just maybe, we can try and do something. I'm a bit nervous, though, it must be said, for this one. But I think as well, if we could get the intermediates right the way through that wet period, that would be super useful as well. Then let's do this thing. It's time for the Dutch Grand Prix.
Final checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get this race underway. Zhou Guanyu will know exactly what's expected of him in this race.
I don't think there'll be many expecting them to mount a challenge from P19, but I wouldn't discount their chances.
Here we go. It's time to go racing. The drivers are ready and the crowds are waiting. It's the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Well, this could end up being a very, very chaotic afternoon here. No less, of course, if for whatever reason Karun Chandok believes that Zhou Guanyu could be one to watch throughout the afternoon. That doesn't happen often, as Yuki Tsunoda immediately making up a couple of spots through that first corner. You get around the outside of Hulkenberg, but he hasn't quite got enough to get around to the outside of Esteban Ocon. Now, do the AI inside this game? Yes, they do take the banking. Why can't they do that in F124 still, man? It's so annoying there, as we'll make the move work on Esteban as well there, or we won't apparently, because we've got no drive off for the corner. Not quite sure how that one happens. Looks like most drivers have opted for the soft compound tyres, but there are quite a lot of medium and a couple of hard runners as well sprinkled in there. So, yeah, we haven't had the best start in the world when all is said and done. Engine temperature can be a bit of a tricky one as well to manage around this venue. But like I said, yeah, all of our focus today, early on especially, is just going to be on, you know, kind of when is going to be the right time to pit those. We've got yellows out. I believe that's Bottas gone. What's happened to Valtteri? He's just ran a bit wide there through the banking. So lucky that he didn't find the wall.
Tackling turn 3. Oh, and they need to be watching those track limits. And they might want to take a look at the floor of the car there, because that won't do it any good.
Yeah, just running a little bit wide there, Valtteri Bottas, and for whatever reason decides to let everybody past him as well then early on. But I tell you what, yeah, Liam Lawson still stuck behind Nico Hulkenberg there. Tsunoda's made up some good moves though, up into P18 nice and early. So like I said, I think, you know, we can afford to push the tyres, but they're more temperature limited around a venue like this. So it is going to be a little bit tricky just to try and kind of manage everything very early on in the Grand Prix. But, you know, fortune favours the brave, and if push comes to shove, we definitely want to try and go aggressive on the tyre strategy as well there. As out of the banking, we'll try and use a bit of battery as well. Maybe we can try and get a run back down in towards someone there. Look at this, Sargent and Gasly wheel to wheel into that first corner. We're going to try and see if Yuki wants to make the move down the inside of the Williams. He has a look for it, and there we go, up and then into P17 as well. So making good progress early on. We might even try and get the run around the outside of Pierre as well. What a move by Yuki Tsunoda, who makes 2 overtakes in 2 corners there. That was a fantastic one to watch. As up then he'll move into P16 here, making very, very good progress early on in the GP. And that is fantastic to see from Yuki, utilising those softer compound tyres nice and early on, as Gasly immediately will go for the move back on him, down in towards someone there. So we need to try and push on a little bit more here. I don't want to spend all day battling out with Yuki's former teammate in Pierre Gasly. But yeah, I mean, if we can just hang around. As oh no, we've got multiple cars gone. Who's crashed?
And here we've got a yellow flag.
Has it actually been a crash? Let's wait and see. It's Esteban Ocon and I believe Hulkenberg? Oh, yes, that is. Bit of a send. Yeah, that was your fault, Esteban. Podium here last year. Of course, people kind of forget that you got a podium here last year. But sadly, no safety car, because I would have taken a gamble to pit right then, which would have been, you know, potentially quite a risky one here. As hopefully Yuki again might be able to get the run on Pierre Gasly. This is now, of course, for 14th place in the GP. Not quite able to do so, so I think we're just going to try and save a little bit of battery with him over these next couple of laps and kind of prepare ourselves for when we get to that wet period as well there. How on earth does Magnussen get a penalty for that one? in what world is that Magnussen's fault, that contact? Like, Esteban Ocon just dived down his inside there, didn't get to the apex, and apparently, I mean, this game just hates Kevin Magnussen, doesn't it? Of course, he's taken a race ban, IRL, in Baku, which, I mean, the fact that even he didn't really care, I thought was quite funny. But up into P14 we go then, as Logan Sargent has a bit of a lock-up. What are the lap times looking like against our bigger rivals? Looks like VCarb, once again, have a little bit more pace than us early on in the GP. But I tell you what, yeah, this rain hasn't started as early as we were expecting it to in this GP. So just trying to monitor the tyre wear slightly more than I thought I'd have to here. But hopefully, yeah, we're just pulling away from Gasly as well. As now the team talking about the wet weather. So, yeah, Lawson... I mean, Lawson running P18 is one of his better runs so far. But when is that rain going to start falling then? And we've got to be ready with the intermediate tyre as well then. As we're still taking a bit of time out of Albon. You know, I reckon we could still get to, you know, sort of Miata and Ricciardo by the end of this one. I mean, look at that. We're already 13 laps in. We're already 45 seconds behind Verstappen at the front of the field. We are going to get lapped quite a lot here, I feel. So that means, obviously, we can use all the fuel as well. But, yeah, rain now just starting to fall then. It's going to be fairly heavy, I think. It's going to start coming in pretty quick. So... Oh, virtual safety car. Why have we got a VSC? What's happened? Who has gone off then? Can I get a look at that? I mean, it's too early still to go to the Inters. Charles Leclerc's gone. What's happened to Charles Leclerc? Down at turn 3? Has he just understeered off the road? Yes, he has. And a big shunt there into the wall. So Charles Leclerc, just like he does in my Ferrari career mode, finding the barrier there. And that suddenly means for us, though, there's a chance at points today. So that is really, really important here. So we'll try and just obviously coast it back off. Save a bit of battery as well there. Just obviously make sure that we got a full charge again. But that is super, super important then over the next couple of laps here. And, I mean, we could see a switch to the intermediates pretty soon. That rain is definitely ramping up. When, I mean, we've got to wait till it's at least like 0.7 though, haven't we? So I don't think it'll be time just yet still to go for it. VSC's out here for quite a while though, so we'll go on the push. And we will get pushing once again then. So both drivers have got to go for it. We might actually, you know what, we'll use a little bit of deploy with both of them as well. Then, so virtual safety car has now ended. So we're going to be green flag racing once again here. And now, yeah, like I said, with Leclerc gone, there's a huge opportunity to try and score some points this afternoon, especially with how quickly Yuki has shuffled his way back through the order very, very early on off of that restart lap. But, yeah, we're not a million miles away from the switch to intermediate tyres either. And with both drivers' tyres starting to look pretty warm, I think we're going to take the gamble now. I think we're going to take the gamble with Liam Lawson this lap. And he's going to dive into the pit lane here. I think we'll do it with Yuki next lap. Just because his tyres are still a little bit better. And we're just going to get him to push and absolutely take everything out of this set. So, bit of a gamble. We are going slightly earlier than I think I'd ideally want to. But I think it might be worthwhile if we can get the undercut on a couple of drivers as well there. Especially if they opt to stay out a little bit longer as well then. So, hopefully that rain is going to continue to roll in. Hopefully we get a nice clean tidy stop as well. No, it's not. 3.6 on Liam Lawson's car. We've got another one behind him in. Oh, there we go. So Ocon as well has done the same thing there. So that gives me a little bit more confidence that maybe we made the right choice. And yeah, we don't need to watch that one back. It was an absolute disaster for us. So let's wait and see. We might hold off with Yuki still. We might try and get him just to go one extra lap again. Because ultimately I think we'll tell him next lap again then. Okay, just keep pushing on because I think Liam is just struggling quite to keep up with Zhou Guanyu here. That gap is coming down a little bit, to be fair. But nowhere near as much as I would feel comfortable with. So, yeah, we're going to bring Yuki one extra lap then. We'll try and use a bit of deploy there. No, I don't want to box now. I thought I'm boxing next lap, aren't I? No, I said next lap. Why didn't it do it? Oh, he is going next lap. Okay. So, we'll tell him this lap, I guess. Little bit of scariness there then. Yeah, box now then. I think this is going to be about the right time to dive into the pit lane here. What is that gap doing for Liam Lawson, though? Is that gap coming down to Zhou Guanyu in front? Yes, it actually is. We've got yellow flag. What's happened? We've got another virtual safety car, so this is definitely going to be the right lap to pit then. And I guess we get to conserve a little bit more energy. Albon's binned it now at turn 3. This is going to be one of those, you know, you get a couple of crazy races inside F1 Manager this season. I think this is going to be one of them then. There's an identical crash to what we saw from Charles Leclerc earlier on. And now, yeah, we just got to try and save a little bit of battery then. So, DRS now is disabled. As Sonoda, yeah, is going to dive into the pit lane then at the end of this one. So surely we're going to see basically everybody into the pit lane, aren't we? No, we're not. Perez opts to stay out. Oscar Piastri opts to stay out. I don't think Verstappen could box even if he wanted to. So that's not worked out very well for him. So we might see him get a little bit undercut now by a couple of other drivers here. So let's just make sure we do get in and out of that pit lane before kind of the VSE comes in, as Ricciardo's not boxed. Miata hasn't boxed either. So this has potentially worked out quite nicely for us in this GP, because that rain is meant to be... Surely that rain's getting... Yeah, that rain is getting worse and worse still. It is meant to float around, though, kind of at the lower end of the intermediate conditions. So you might just see... Oh, what's Lawson done? Oh, no, Lawson's fine. It's someone else has binned it. It was obviously Alex Albon, wasn't it? So... Sonoda makes his way back out then onto the circuit. He's going to be out right with Valtteri Bottas here. So by the time we're ready to go green flag racing once again then, we've got... Is anybody else on Inters? Is Perez in? So Sainz has opted for Inters. Lando Norris has also opted for Inters. I assume Perez is going to be doing the same. Yes, he is. So Verstappen and Oscar Piastri as well as Hamilton opting to stay out just a little bit longer. But things getting very, very interesting then at this stage of the afternoon, as we might still have time for everybody else to pit. There we go, VSE coming to an end. So again, we'll go... Actually, no, we don't want to go full attack on the tyres, do we? We'll go full push, and we'll go neutral on the battery. And again, we'll do the same with Liam Lawson as well there. So... Yeah, cars now, green flag racing again. Verstappen has dived into the pit lane now then, so that's been horribly timed for Red Bull. He might not lose out too much because of it, but he might be vulnerable. Oscar Piastri into the pit lane as well. As slow stop for Verstappen, and I think he's going to rejoin right into the path of Oscar Piastri as well then, so that should be a penalty. As look at that, yeah, we've really gained in all of this. Lawson now up at a P15. And yeah, Sonoda, I mean, he's only, what is he? 15 seconds behind Ricciardo, and I reckon we have got a slightly quicker car than VCarb here still. So this is working out really, really nicely for us at the moment. Let's just hope that obviously we can bring that gap down over the next few laps as well then, as yeah, you can see it's floating at about 15 seconds. Lawson as well, we've just got to try and make sure that we use that spare battery he's got in the car. As there we go, it is finally officially damp conditions, despite the fact every single driver he's already on the intermediate tyre as well then. So, I mean, Lawson could be on for one of his best results of the seasons if we can hang on to the car quite nicely. Miata seems to be doing pretty well in terms of pace against Daniel Ricciardo as well. So, tyre wear is very minimal. So, I think we can afford just to push on a little bit. But, yeah, we need to just slowly bring in that gap to those two in front of us. We've got yellow flags out again. Don't think that's any concern for us. Logan Sargent going for a spin down at that first corner. What I would really like, to be honest, at this stage of the afternoon is actually a an actual safety car. So we could try and obviously bunch back up with Ricciardo and Miata here. Because the other thing I am a little bit worried about, of course, is going to be lapped cars and things like that. So yeah, I mean, that gap is not coming down to those two in front of us. So I think VCarb might have brought a bit of an upgrade to this weekend. And yeah, we can't really work those tyres as much as I would want to either then. So what are Miata and Ricciardo doing? They're working their tyres even harder than us, so they might pit again. As it's apparently, circuit's got drier, but it is going to get wetter again. So I don't think we'll see anyone stupid enough to make the switch back over on the tyres. But I tell you what, yeah, Lawson's pace here as well is looking fairly commendable at this stage of the afternoon. So now we've got to wait and see whether Yuki's going to get held up in some of the traffic with Verstappen. Of course, he's going to have to start letting all of those faster cars by But hopefully it's not going to hold us up too much, as there we go. Verstappen will just about slip through. Maybe we'll get a little bit of DRS for our troubles as well, there, as it's still, at the moment, slightly under... there we go. It's immediately gone straight back round to the damp conditions as well then. But, yeah, we're going to lose a bit of time in all of this, and I really don't want to see Ricciardo get another point on the board if we're not going to be able to here. But maybe, just maybe, they'll opt to pit again in the intermediate conditions. But I mean, look at that gap now. We've got 31 seconds. It will come back down again when Miata has to let everybody else by as well. But yeah, we are really, really struggling to kind of keep up with those two at the moment. There's Magnussen into the pit lane again then. So we are seeing some drivers opt to kind of two-stop or make a pit stop, obviously, during the intermediate conditions. Is that gap coming back down to Miata? He's having to let a few people by, isn't he? So it should do. There we go, yeah, it is back down to about 10 seconds then. And hopefully we'll see Ricciardo obviously lose a bit of pace as well, as we are really making our way kind of through, like, the big section of this GP. Will our tyres actually make it to the dry period? I'm not convinced they will. I think it might be worth diving into the pit lane again then, and just working another set of intermediate tyres quite hard here. If we can get the undercut on the rest of the runners, like, you know, Miata and Ricciardo, I reckon that's going to be the way to go here, is we're actually going to try and use a slightly worn-in set with Yuki as well then. So, I mean, at the moment, the gap is apparently 35 seconds. It's less than that, of course, because obviously Ricciardo hasn't had to let all those other faster cars by. Had we thought about it, we probably should have pit Yuki when all those other quicker cars were getting to us, which would have been ideal. But I guess we can afford to work this second set of the tyres quite hard throughout the second stint of this Grand Prix, and hopefully we're not going to come out too far behind Hülkenberg either. So 2.4 second stop is good going. The team clearly well rested. That might make the difference there against Hülkenberg. No, it won't. Hülkenberg will just about still be ahead, but a valiant effort by the team. Because can they go even quicker with Liam Lawson then in the second car? I must admit, now he's had a bit of time over the summer break to rejuvenate. Lawson, you know, might not be such a bad idea to keep him on until the end of the year, but of course we know that he is going to be going to Sainz. Oh, I've accidentally clicked to highs. His performance is, there we go, yeah. So Liam, 2.6 second stop as well. That could be some good points in the pit stop challenge as well here, as we'll try and get those tyres up to temp. And we will monitor those gaps then between Yuki. Oh, there we go. Hülkenberg in. So, yeah, I want to see Miata and Ricciardo into the pit lane quite soon. But yeah, we should safely be able to get to the end of the GP on these sets of tyres, and maybe we can afford to work them pretty hard as well then throughout the rest of the afternoon there. So Ricciardo is going to pit, but he still is going to be out ahead of Miata there. So that's really not worked out as well as we would have wanted. We need a couple more issues for drivers here. We need a safety car is what we really need at this stage of the day. There is Lawson now all the way up to P14 of the GP. But ultimately, yeah, I just don't think we've got the pace against the likes of Ricciardo and Miata here, which is so frustrating. Because I wanted to believe we could try and push them throughout, you know, especially when we've had so many good opportunities to nearly score points in the first half of the year. Why suddenly, when the front runner gets an issue, is it then that V-Carb are quicker again in these Grand Prix? So annoying. So annoying. But there's still a bit of time. A lot can change still for the end of the afternoon. We're 1 lap down with Yuki, 2 laps down with Liam. So we can afford to obviously keep burning the fuel as well towards the end. Of course, unless we get a safety car or something like that, which could really change things up. And now, as you can see, yeah, the rain's starting just to taper off as well towards the end of the afternoon. So we will see a switch back to dry compound tyres, I would have thought, before this race is done and dusted. But, I mean, yeah, the gaps. We're going almost a second a lap slower than Ricciardo here still, which is rather frustrating late on in the day. Maybe we could see the AI not opt to box and we do box or something. I don't really know. But I think, yeah, annoyingly, it's going to be Ricciardo and V-Carb that score another point towards the end of the year. And once again, we're going to have nothing to show for it. As we got Sainz has binned it. Surely we're going to get a safety car or something for that one. As Carlos Sainz, here he goes. Doesn't look like they're placed to have a big crash. Is he just going to drop it? And Ferrari, with an absolute disaster this weekend, both drivers in the war. Sainz into the pit lane then, but he's still going to be on the road, which I guess is good for us, because it means that VCAR might not get a double points finish, but I was kind of hoping that we could get a safety car from that one or something late on in the day as well. There is a handful of laps to go. I don't think it's even going to be worth pitting before the end of this race, which is incredibly frustrating for us. But, you know, you got to look at the positives as well. Liam Lawson has done a really good job in that second car as well there, as now we got yellows out again. Several cars involved. What on earth has happened? This race has been chaos. It's Sergio Perez. He's running up in P2. Going to try and look around the outside of the Williams. And Sargent's just clattered him. I mean, again, Perez able to keep going there.
That was a tough moment to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be pretty annoyed, obviously, if you're watching Logan Sargent in the other car taking you out like that. But Perez, again, bit like Sainz, should be able to keep going to the end of the afternoon here. So, yeah, we're not even going to see it switch back over to the dry compound tyres before the end of this one. But once again, it looks like it is going to be Verstappen that is going to take a dominant victory here. There's a 5-second penalty coming in for Logan. Not one that I'm going to lose sleep over either come the end of the afternoon. As there we go, team now saying it is going to move back to dries, but with 2 laps to go of the Grand Prix, it's fairly pointless here. And Verstappen, how many times have I said it this season? He is going to walk away with about a 30-second lead come the end of a GP here. Once again, despite the changeable conditions, they just cannot touch the Dutchman at the moment. And we're seeing a repeat of last season there. Max Verstappen will win the Dutch Grand Prix for the 4th year in a row. And I'm sure the Orange Army once again are going to go mad watching that one.
Over the finish line, and today's winner. And Verstappen finishes first.
Yeah, absolutely dominant display there by the Dutchman once again. And, well, he will continue on after the summer break exactly the way he went into it there. But for us, though, I tell you what, I think between our 2 drivers, probably going to be one of the best results of the year. Gutted again, though, that we lose another point to VCAR. But ultimately, yeah, I think they had more pace than us today. We want to desperately try and get some more upgrades on the car as well. Their Sonoda will come through for P12 in the end. But I tell you what, Liam Lawson, I think that might be his best result of the year. They're P14 after a difficult first half of the year. I'm happy to see it for the young Kiwi. He deserves a decent result.
Yuki Tsunoda makes his way back after the events of that race.
Just out of the points today with a P12 finish in the end.
Well, Max Verstappen can add yet another podium to his already impressive record.
Another win this year, and you know what? I wonder if they've lost count by now.
A sea of smiles all around. They're on top of the world, here in Zandvoort. Well, Karun, how do you think they'll be feeling in the team garage at the end of that?
They did okay today, I'd say. I mean, we're talking about such a competitive field, and all things considered, the drivers did all right.
And that then marks the end of events here at Zandvoort.
We now look ahead to the next round in Monza in Italy. The Temple of Speed is waiting, and the teams will be ready and raring to go.
Well, there we are then. Max Verstappen, once again, just dominant at the front of the field there. But Lando Norris did take fastest lap. I guess it's a consolidation bonus point as well for him. The same for Daniel Ricciardo down at VCAR there. Another point for Visa Cash App Racing Bulls there. That is frustrating, and I can't help but wonder whether we'd taken, you know, a grid penalty a bit earlier on in the year. Maybe we could have had the pace to fight then. But I tell you what, 9 places gained for Yuki, 8 places gained for Liam. That is a really good race result there, and I'm hoping that might give Liam Lawson a bit of confidence that he needs throughout the rest of the season as well there. Alex Albon, Charles Leclerc, the 2 drivers that failed to see the checkered flag. And that means in terms of the championship, well, yeah, Verstappen now with a 80-point lead over Lando Norris, who's got a 60-point lead over Charles Leclerc there. Piastri still ahead of Perez as well. Stroll still doing better than Alonso this season. Don't ask me how that's working. And yeah, annoyingly for us there, VCARB and Ricciardo getting an extra point on the board means we are just a little bit further away from them as well. We're going to need a pretty big miracle between now and the end of the year. There no changes in the constructors either, as well. Yeah, Mercedes take a bit of points out of Aston Martin as well. There has been a new patch to the game, so I don't know how that's affected things as well there. Tsunoda does pick up us a few points, though, in the DHL pit stop challenge, which I guess is good, but we are still down in 8th place overall in that championship at the moment there, as Mercedes jump Alpine again. Red Bull still with a small lead over McLaren in that title fight. They see a 2.4 second stop. Both of Yuki's stops actually pretty competitive in the end. Liam Lawson's, yeah, left a little bit to be desired. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready at the Temple of Speed for the Italian Grand Prix.